What's up YouTube, Pinball123. Today's video is a pickup video. It's been long overdue, like 6 months or something silly since, well, quite a while, of what games I got from like the Christmas period. I got a few for n.e.s, a few after that, and in a lot of stuff that I've traded in and got in the meantime. So anyway, I'm going to go over what I got, and yeah, it's probably going to be quite a long video because there's quite a few because it's built up. But I'm now so close to finishing the n.e.s set. I'm just got to get a few more bits to move on and then swap for games or whatever. So it'll happen eventually, maybe in the next few months. But yeah, so the first thing I'm going to show you is I got Rob the Robot, and it's in mint condition. It's perfect, no yellowing at all, totally crisp. All the contacts in the battery compartments are perfect. All the rest of the parts are up there. I just didn't bring them all down. They're up on that shelf. Yeah, up that way. But yeah, as you can see, he looks awesome. The only thing he doesn't have, which kind of doesn't come with these when you buy them on their own, is he's got like sunglasses, as I call them, that go over the thing. It's like a lens. So if your TV's so bright, it doesn't like it. So you use these glass like filter that goes over his eyes. I like it like this though, where he's actually got two eyes instead of just having the filter. But yeah, you can pick the filter up now and again for a couple of quid on eBay when they turn up. But yeah, he goes for a silly amount now. And a guy was just on Facebook, and yeah, I got a message just saying this guy's got one. It's a good price. Do you want it? And I was basically umming and ahhing over 2 quid for it because the guy wanted gifted payment, but I didn't want to gift him it, and then yeah, you just worry about paying a new guy gifted. So I was like, yeah, I might leave it. And then I was like, no, I should go for it. It was a bargain. It was a real bargain. So I chucked the 2 quid extra down, and then everybody in the comments was like, I'll have it, I'll have it. If you don't want it, I'll have it. And it went mad. But now these things go for a stupid amount. They're going up and up all the time. So if you do see one in the wild, which is probably rare to find anyway, grab it definitely. So next thing, from my friend Connor, he bought some controllers. He was into n.e.s for 5 minutes. Well, didn't realise that light was so bright there. He was into n.e.s for 5 minutes, and someone come up on one of the pages and just said, do you want some controllers cheap? And yeah, they're new n.e.s controllers. So he bought the controls and never used them, and then gave them to me at cost. So yeah, that was great. I mean, stupid cheap. Like, I think it was like £6 each or something. So yeah, brand new n.e.s pads. Still not used them. They're still sealed, all bagged up. I've got 2 of those. The other ones... there's the other one. 2 pads. So he gave me those 2. And he also hooked me up with a dog bone controller for the top loader. Lovely condition. The only thing with the dog bones, the Famicom ones, is the wires are very short. Whereas what I like to do is desolder the connectors and then solder on one of these long ones from a normal n.e.s pad. So get an old battered n.e.s pad. But I don't kill off the old n.e.s pad. I take the wire from this and then put that back on the other one, which I'm not going to use. So I've got plenty of pads anyway. It's not like they're worth a stupid amount of money. But these are going up in value. I mean, you can pick these up 10 to 20 quid usually. But if you get like an American one or a Australian one, then they go for like 40 and stuff like that sometimes, which is a pain because obviously import and stuff like that. But that was dirt cheap for that stuff. Right, through the games. There's quite a few, so I'm just going to try and remember where they're from. This one was from CEX. I went in one day and traded in a load of stuff. I had Amiibos I didn't want, stuff like that. And I got, yeah, just basically saw this one in the shelf. And I don't really go for the Codemasters ones. But it was like 6 quid or something. So I grabbed it. I couldn't leave it behind. But actually got a Master System game at the same time as well. But that's for another video if I do that. Right, so this one was another CEX purchase. That's Prince Valiant. Did I actually say what that is? That's Super Sports Challenge, sorry. I haven't really tried it because these aren't the best shape for the top loader consoles. But yeah. Okay, next game. Ocean's Legend of Prince Valiant. If you're an 80s child, you'll probably remember that TV show. Focus. That'll do. Yeah, you can see it. A decent game. And it's getting like, it's an uncommon game. It doesn't come up that often. But it came up on the site finally and I grabbed it. I can't remember the price exactly, but yeah, trading credit. Right, we'll just go for them random. We have, let's get these both then. I managed to get a bundle and it was Lolo 1, Lolo 2 and Lolo 3. But I've got Lolo 2 already, so I sold that on. to take money off these. The thing is, Lolo 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 3 come from Italy. Number 2 can be found anywhere. The problem being is somebody who had these 2 games opened them up and cleaned the contacts with sandpaper, and they've rubbed it down, so they're not the smoothest contacts. So they've cleaned up nice, but number 2 was fine. There was no problem with number 2, and number 2 was the one I didn't need, so that was typical. But that was a wicked bundle. I can't remember the price on it, but it was really cheap, and it was even cheaper getting rid of the second one again. So you know, couldn't turn that down. Hoops, Australian exclusive. I've just noticed I thought it was a bit of tape or something, but it's not. It's just a residue. Hoops, basketball game. It's okay. It's not that great. But by the way, Lolo games, they're fantastic. Really good games to get. This is alright. I mean, it's basketball. It's made by Jalico, however you want to say it. They do some pretty good games. But this is an Australian one. I think this was Australian exclusive. Like, to get it, I had to get it from there. I couldn't get it from Italy. I think it was a dirt cheap one. I got it in a bundle, I think. And it was pennies. So, yeah. Another game from Australia, this one. Well, they do it in Italy as well, I think. Lee Trevino, whoever that is, Fighting Golf. It's basically like they've got a Japanese game. Yeah, it's Japanese as anything. Like, everything's the animation, the lot. And they've made it, and they've gone, you know, we need to sell this. Let's get someone who's known in the golfing industry to back it. And they just stuck his name on it. I can't really find anything in it to do with him. Like, the main characters you choose don't even have his name or anything. The game's okay. It's a golf game. You know, as simple as golf gets. But it's nice. It's alright. And pretty reasonable price as well. You can get these quite cheap. So that's a cheap one to get. Don't you dare, Harry. He's waiting to pounce. We have ice hockey, which I left for ages, which I've heard is great. And, well, it is great. It's a great little game. You pick your characters, like you can have a fat one, a thin one, and, you know, different ones at different abilities and different strengths. Some are stronger and do different things. But it's more advanced than Blades of Steel. But it's still a good game. Another cheap one. There's a guy on the Nintendo group, actually, that collects these. He collects every variation of these from all around the world. He's got loads of them. But yeah, definitely one to grab. We have this one. Was this one? This one might have been CEX, I'm not sure. Bram Stoker. Is it Stoker? Bram Stoker's Dracula. Mandel, no, wouldn't you? Is it Stoker?
Have you not seen Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Never seen it.
You joking?
No?
You have to watch it, it's good.
Never seen it. So, but the game is absolutely shocking. One of the worst games in existence. Absolute crap. Music is horrible. The graphics are horrible. Everything about it is crap. But it's an uncommon game. So if you see it, definitely grab it if it's for the collection, because it's hard to find. Yeah, that was a bargain on CEX, came up. And yeah, with vouchers, no brainer. Can't turn it down. So if I've repeated any of these from before, I'm sorry, because it's hard to keep track on what I've done without going through all the videos again. We have Wild Gunman, which is the one from Back to the Future. I think he plays it when he goes into the diner. He's like, oh, this is like a kid's toy. You got your hand or something, baby toy or something. But yeah, can't go wrong with that. But it's a shooting game, and I can't use it because it doesn't work on anything but LCDs. No, sorry, CRTs. Getting it wrong. Another cheap and cheerful game, but it doesn't come up often. It's quite an uncommon game. It's an Australian one, and it's Tecmo World Cup Soccer. Decent football game. If you like football games, you enjoy it. Sorry about my phone, it's near the mic there. Pennies, but doesn't show up often. So if you see it, you've got to look on eBay Australia. And the best way to get these, is what I usually do, is get them when I've got, you know, a bundle. I tend to not grab them on their own because it costs too much with the shipping. So if you can get one with a couple of extras at the same time, it makes it worth it. So yeah, dirt cheap, but definitely one to find. Another super cheap game. This was on, I think this was Australia as well. The Chess Master. I'm not a big fan of chess. I can't honestly remember how to play it, but it's pennies. So that was one that was chucked in the bundle. We have... Harry, you right? Is he alright? Yeah. Okay. Track and Field in Barcelona. This one is Italy, I think. Italian. Track and Field again. Just more Track and Field, but this time in Barcelona. If you like Track and Field, you'll enjoy it. Track and Field 1. I don't... Harry's walking across the Lego now. Either Track and Field 1, I think it was 1 wasn't very good and 2 was better. Something like that. But yeah, this one's pretty decent. And another cheap game. We have This is an Australian one as well. This one's an exclusive, and it's a cracker, like really, really good. Sunsoft's Spy Hunter, but it's Super Spy Hunter. And this game, there's two versions. There's like Spy Hunter in America, which is trash, personally. It's like the arcade one, but it's not that great. But this one is fantastic. So if you see that pop up, grab it. It's such a good game. The music, the graphics, the gameplay, everything about it is superb. And that was probably part of that bundle with the Australian stuff, so you couldn't turn it down. And it's not an expensive game. It's not really expensive. I mean, you pick it up for like 10, 15 quid. We have another Australian game. Most of these are probably Australian anyway. This one is Prisoner of War. Or is it Prisoners of War? And it's a brilliant game. Side-scrolling beat 'em up, kind of like Streets of Rage, Final Fight, or whatever it is. You can't go wrong with it. I just got to one boss with loads of lives and he just ruined me. So I'm not that great yet. I got probably the third stage. But yeah, he ruined me. But this game, great. This is uncommon. This one can fetch a bit more money. If you're lucky, you can get it cheap. But yeah, be prepared to pay a bit more for it. I paid cheap for it. But if you can find it in a bundle, maybe go for it. But it's worth grabbing. We have... Where does I don't remember where this one come from, to be honest. I think this is Italian. Road Blasters. It's based on the arcade game, if I'm right. It's okay. It's literally what it says on the tin. Road Blasters. You're on the road and you're blasting things in the way. That's it. Pretty simple. It's okay. Uncommon as well. Well, it's got that, what people call Italian tax. So when you buy it in Italy, they always whack an extra bit of money on it. Because they are... always after a bit extra money for some reason in the Italian exclusives. Wrecking Crew. I think this one was from CEX. It's a classic. You can't go wrong. 2-player as well. Smashing everything in sight. It's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph style. I think that's probably where they got it from. Go around the level. I don't know if it is actually Mario on there. It might be. I'm not sure. But you go around just smashing buildings down, smashing ladders down, and you've got to survive without getting touched while doing the stuff. It's an arcade game. Cheap. You can pick this up well cheap. But it's worth grabbing. Another game from Italy, Nightrider. This one is... it's alright. It doesn't have the Nightrider music, I don't think, which misses a trick there. I mean, why would they not put it in it? But it plays well. You can see kit, and you drive along, and you've got all your special abilities, and you can jump over cars, which is something you don't really do on many games on the n.e.s. And it's pretty cool. Another one that's not very expensive. Pretty cheap. This one was... I can't remember if I've said this one already, but I think it was a Christmas present. George Foreman, Cairo boxing. Dirt cheap. Pennies. Like, really, really cheap. I haven't really played it, to be honest, to give any opinions on it. So, yeah, we'll pass on that one. We have Pugsley Scavenger Hunt. Adam's Family. It's a weird one because it doesn't have any music. Usually with games, they've got a music in the background, like going over and looping and stuff. This doesn't, so it's very weird to play without music. But it's based on the cartoon, as you can see. If you used to watch that back in the day, probably in the 90s. It's alright. It's a decent game. It's not amazing, but it's alright. And it's another one of those Italian tax ones where if you buy it from Italy, you got to pay a little bit extra, but you can get it cheap if you look around. And this was dirt cheap. This was on a Facebook site. And the guy was like, he wanted a silly amount for it. And I was like, well, I can get it on eBay for cheaper than that. And he knocked like another 20 quid off the top. So it was pennies. So it's a bargain. Good game. It's alright. It's not bad. We have... This game is brilliant. I'm not very good at it, though, because I suck at pinball games. And it's called Pinball Quest. This one is Australian exclusive. They don't add... Australians don't really add on tax, you know, their own tax for selling their exclusives. So this was so cheap. And if you can get it, get it. And what it is, it's a load of pinball games. But you've got a pinball mode, which is based on an RPG. So the pinball ball is actually alive, and you're going through the levels, attacking things and doing certain things to get keys and unlock. If you're good at pinball, it's great, but I'm not very good, so I can't get far. But it is great, like a great pinball game, and must play. And again, not a very expensive game. If it was in Italy, that would probably be stupid, like £100 or something, because they always add extra. But yeah, as it's Australian, they're like, yeah, mate, have it for pennies. So this one is another Australian exclusive. We didn't get it. I think the rest of the world didn't get it. I think it was just like Australia or something like that, and one other country, and it's Championship Rally. Another uncommon game because it doesn't show up often because it's not very available in different countries. So the only way to get it is from, you know, Australia, basically. I think it was like Australia and Spain or something. There was two countries that got it. I'm not sure exactly what. rally game, really fun, but really fast. It kind of feels too fast to play. Like, you're going around the levels. It's so quick that if you shift into high gear, you can, yeah, just smash into every wall. But the graphics are great, and it's just a great game. Not necessarily expensive either. Just doesn't show up often, so if you're after it, just keep an eye out on eBay Australia. Iron Tank, SNK game. They're like arcade games. You get a tank, drive around, smashing everything up, running people over. It's okay. I find it quite difficult. I'm not very good at it. Maybe if I put some extra time into it, I'll be good at it. But another, you know, most of these are pennies. They're not that expensive. Another pennies game, Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's, we played it, didn't we? It was, yeah, it's got some, I don't even... It was like you punch, I don't know, you punch people when they fly off the screen like rockets. There he's going around the back. Don't look, that's it, lay down. Is he laying down there? Yeah, he's laid down, right. Sorry about that. So yeah, Total Recall, a very weird game. It's not very good, very cheap. This is from Italy. It's okay if you're desperate to play it, get it, but otherwise avoid. Another game that should be avoided. This is trash. Harry's got to go that way before he ruins everything. Sorry about that. Oh, this is not going well. Every time you film a video, he climbs all over everything. So yeah, Indiana Jones. This is the Last Crusade version. I think in America they got a better one. I mean, when I say better, I mean, yeah, it's not that great. But this is trash. The graphics are crap. The animation's crap. And it's just, everything's brown. Everything's ugly and brown and green. It's just like they didn't even try. Ubisoft made it as well. Trash. Absolute trash. Uncommon game. It's another Italian one, so be warned. You know, there's some buy. If you see I buy it now, it's probably for a silly amount. Corvette ZR1 Challenge. This one wasn't a bad price, and it's an okay game. It's made by MB Games. I think it's an Italian one as well. Yes, it is. Okay, if you're desperate to play it, there's loads better racing games out there, so if you want to avoid one, probably avoid that. We have... this was a CEX game, I think. I'm not sure if I've done this one already. This is Donkey Kong Arcade Classics. This one is becoming uncommon. It used to show up all the time. And now it can be silly amounts. It can go for like as little as £10, £15, but then it also can go to £40, £50 if people are desperate to play it. And a lot of people do want to play it. But it's like the arcade, but it's missing a level apparently. I think it's like 3 levels instead of 4. And it's a decent game. If you like the arcade game, you'll enjoy it. But be warned, people will try and bump it up. But yeah, I think that was a CEX one. It was like, you take a chance on it on CEX and it paid off because it was perfect condition and had a slipcase as well. We have another cheap game. This was CEX as well. Battleship, I think. It was CEX. Battleship. Not much to say about that. If you like Battleship, play it with a mate. It doesn't... I mean, I'd rather have it in the physical form than on the console, but... yeah, it's not the best. It's alright. Anticipation. I haven't actually played this game yet, but I've seen gameplay of it, and it's a board game. It's an Australian board game. It's licensed with GBR, so it says it's like a UK game, but it's obviously the questions aren't UK based. I think they're American based, but it's a fun game, and if you want to play it with mates, it's kind of like, what's it called? It's not Trivial. It's like Trivial Pursuit, but it's like that one. You know, when you push the bumper in the middle and it spins the dice, and you go around the board, whatever that's called. Frustration, something like that. It's something like that, but it's an alright game. What I've seen people play of it, it looks alright. Now this game was probably the hardest game. He's been a right pain, hasn't he? This is probably the hardest game I've had to find out of any of the n.e.s games, and it's Galaga. And this was basically sitting on eBay at 5 o'clock in the morning. It came up, and obviously everyone's asleep, and I wasn't, as usual. So I was like, it was a bargain, like ridiculously cheap. And the guy did it with the postage for next to nothing. And it's just, it's not an expensive game, but it's impossible to find. It's just ever since I've been looking for n.e.s games, never found this game. It's a great game as well. It's superb. Have to get it from Australia, and the tag on it is ITA for Italy. But I don't know if it is in Italy or not. Maybe it is, and it's just really hard to find. But only one copy I ever found, and it's Australia, and I got it. And I've never seen another one since, on any group, anywhere. So, if you do see it, jump at it. We have another game which isn't bad, but it's not great. It's the Blues Brothers. Can't really make out the cover on that. But it plays well, but the level design's a bit crappy, so it kind of ruins the whole enjoyment of it. And when you die, you go back to checkpoints. And yeah, I didn't get far. I didn't even get past the first level, but it's a bit all over the place. I don't really like the level design, but the gameplay's okay. Another Italian one. It's not an expensive one, really. Just, yeah, watch out for people trying to hike up prices. Best way to go is just wait until you're willing to pay that price and then go for it, because a lot of stuff, people try and chance it. Like Robocop 3, that's another one. People try and get a lot of money for, even though it's a pennies game. And it's an okay game. It's not amazing. Probably the best, I think, of the three. Robocop 1, 2 and 3 on the n.e.s. But it's still not amazing. It's okay. It's side-scrolling, shoot everything up game. Another game which I panned like on emulation, and I couldn't. The thing that I couldn't work out on it was, it's Die Hard. Is when you shoot your gun, you can only shoot right and up, and all the enemies can shoot all around. So I was like, you know, this sucks. But once you pick up a machine gun, you can shoot all around, so it's not a big problem. And the whole point is, what I don't know if this is right, but it's to get to the top of the plaza and basically win, like in the film. But you're going through the plaza through elevators and enemies keep coming out. It's kind of confusing. There's no real direction to it, but I think that's what you have to do. And it's an okay game. Here he goes again. So yeah, it's not a bad game. It's not the worst game. Reasonably uncommon. Australian. I think it's an Australian exclusive. Yeah, it is. So if you want it, you've got to go to Australia for it. It's not super expensive, but yeah, when it shows up, depends on the person, how greedy they're being. Another CEX one, this one. MiG-29. Doesn't show up often. I only had one copy. And for some reason, on the app, you couldn't buy it, but on the website, you could. So I was a bit worried that I'd buy it and wouldn't get anything. They'd just be like refunding money. So yeah, I had a voucher still left over from them other ones earlier. And it was like, I think it was like £30, which is the going rate. On eBay, they try and charge 50 for it. It's a Codemasters game. It's decent. The audio's good. This is my first game I've got that's pretty decent from Codemasters. I mean, Dizzy and that's okay, but it's not bad. A good shooter. I think it's based on another game, maybe an arcade game. We're on to the last game anyway. Last game, I don't know if I've mentioned this one before, but it's Stack Up, which is a Rob the Robot game. If you want this box to complete, be prepared to play 200 plus, maybe even more than that. In good condition, that's in battered condition. In good condition, you can pay a lot more. And yeah, this one doesn't show up often. If you're after n.e.s games and you're after collection, it's a UK game. It can go in Italy as well and Australia, I think, but it's hard to find. In USA, it's a bit easier to find, but obviously it's not part of the collection. But this one doesn't show up often, and it did show up in Italy. And the guy was like, I said, you know, do you ship to England? And he wouldn't reply, so I guess he didn't speak Italian. And then I did it in Italian, and then he put it on eBay UK, and then it just came up on his listing. So, not a bad price, but it's one of the higher end games to get. Not well, you can't. It's a crap game anyway to play, so it's literally just for the collection. So if you're after a game to play, don't buy it to play because it's not that great. I think that's it. What else? Right, Harry's coming along. You come across here then. Come on. There we go. Yeah, so that's it. I don't know how many games there are there, but I am now 6 away from the full set and 1 away from a full UK. And the UK one doesn't show up often, but it's a pennies game. But I've left it again and again and again because it's just not playable. People know what it is already if I've sold you. But yeah, I don't want to keep shouting out in case any other people try and grab it. But yeah, it just doesn't show up that often. And before I've left it, and it's like a £10 game, £15 game. And I've left it and left it and left it. And now I need it, and it never turns up. So, and when it does, I've seen people bidding it up, shill bidding to like stupid amounts, like hundreds. And then they're messaging my friend who was like asking questions, and he's like, "Oh, you can have a second chance offer," and it like, yeah, you know, you just bid it up on purpose. Anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, that's it. You know about the boot sales situation. It's on every video. Boot sales are on, but it's raining all the time, and it's probably going to rain tomorrow, so it probably won't be on again. So, anyway, 24 minutes. Let's wrap it up. So, we're going to say goodbye, and see you in the next one. Say bye, Harry. No kisses. Say bye. That'll do. See you later, guys. Bye.